She didn't think you'd actually walk away. Now she's feeling everything. You were the one who showed up, the one who stayed, the one who cared more, until one day you didn't. Now she's spiraling, not because you hurt her, but because she never expected you to stop showing up. And when you finally do what she thought you'd never do, her world flips. Because the moment you vanish, not out of revenge, not out of anger, but out of clarity, something happens on her side. And it's time you knew exactly what. So if you're done being an option, drop this in the comments. I am the prize. Here are the 10 things every woman starts to feel the moment you finally walk away. Number 1. She feels ignored. She doesn't show it at first. She pretends everything is fine. She even makes it look like she doesn't notice your absence. But the moment your name stops showing up on her phone, the illusion of control she had begins to slip. She told herself she could do better. She believed, even for a moment, that you were lucky to have her. But now it's quiet. Not just quiet. It's different. The usual validation she relied on, that steady dose of attention, is gone, and she doesn't know how to fill it. You used to text good morning. You used to check in. You used to make her feel like she was the center of your world. And now she's refreshing her apps, opening conversations that ended days ago, wondering when you'll break your silence. But nothing comes. And that's when she starts to feel it. The absence isn't just inconvenient, it's painful. Because she got used to you being constant, the version of you that never left, never wavered, never pulled back. She got comfortable. She assumed her attitude wouldn't cost her anything. But now, you're not feeding her anymore, and her system doesn't know how to handle it. That's the truth most won't say. Modern connection has conditioned people to feel entitled to your presence, even when they don't earn it. She thought you'd always be around, no matter how she acted. She thought your patience was a weakness, but what she never saw coming was that your silence wasn't passive. It was intentional. It wasn't about punishing her. It was about honoring yourself. You finally understood that being available 24/7 to someone who treats you like an option is emotional self-destruction. So you stopped. No argument, no announcement, just a pivot. And now she's left to deal with what she created, a connection she assumed was disposable, now gone without closure. And she feels ignored, not just because your message stopped, but because your energy shifted. She no longer owns the space she once occupied in your world, and that terrifies her. She tries to distract herself, new people, new attention, but it doesn't land the same. Because your attention was real, steady, earned. And once you remove something real from someone who's addicted to control, they spiral. She feels powerless. She starts posting louder. She tries to provoke a reaction, but nothing lands because you've disconnected. You've leveled up. She doesn't know this version of you, the one that doesn't explain, doesn't chase, doesn't fold. And that's where the regret starts. She thought the power was in her silence, but now she realizes real power is in yours. Want to master this? Practice restraint. Remove your need to respond. Channel that energy into building your life, build your health, your income, your future. The more you do, the clearer her irrelevance becomes. Because when you stop chasing, she starts questioning everything. And when you disappear without flinching, she starts realizing what she lost. Not a man who begged, a man who walked away without needing closure. Because he already found it, in self-respect. And if that line hits you deeper than you expected, it's because there's more inside of you that knows it's time to stop settling. That's exactly why the Stoic relationship blueprint exists, not just as a book, but as a lifeline for men ready to finally take control. It's built on timeless, proven Stoic principles designed to transform your inner world and relationships from the inside out. And now it's available in a powerful audiobook version, so you can absorb this life-changing wisdom while walking, lifting, jogging, or driving. Once you get it, it's yours for life. You'll have access to these tools whenever life tests you, whenever emotions run high, and especially when it feels like no one else gets it. The link's in the comments. Get it, listen, apply. You'll never see relationships or yourself the same way again. Number 2. She remembers your value. At first, she thinks it's just a phase. She assumes you'll be back, that you'll cave, because you always did. She believes you're just trying to prove a point, not understanding that this time, you're done. But as the hours turn into days and the days into weeks, something shifts in her mind. It's subtle, quiet, creeping. She starts remembering things she never appreciated when they were in front of her. The way you listened, the way you anticipated her needs, the way you made time even when your schedule didn't allow it, the way you respected her space without making her beg for it, the way you supported her silently, not for attention, but because you cared. She remembers the stability, the consistency, the reliability, not in dramatic gestures or grand promises, but in presence. She remembers the nights when your voice calmed her down more than any advice ever could. She remembers the way you stayed, even when she gave you every reason to leave. She remembers how safe she felt around you, even though she never told you that. Because now, she doesn't feel that anymore. Not with anyone else, and especially not with herself. See, your value wasn't in what you said. It was in who you were, in how you moved, in the peace you brought into chaotic situations, in the way you didn't compete with her ego, but refused to let it control you. She remembers the value not because you're perfect, but because you're now rare. You're no longer responding. You're no longer waiting. You're no longer holding space for someone who couldn't recognize your worth when it was right in front of them. And now, in hindsight, the moments she called normal look like peace. The actions she ignored now feel like luxury. The effort she dismissed now feels like a loss. This is what happens when someone loses real presence. They scramble to remember what they once overlooked, and your absence becomes your proof. Not because you're bitter, but because you evolved. You became the type of person who no longer puts their soul on discount. You stopped handing out emotional clarity to people who respond with confusion. You stopped explaining why your loyalty was rare. And now, in the silence, she's doing the math. She's measuring the messages, the favors, the consistency, and comparing it to the breadcrumbs she gets from everyone else. And suddenly, you're not just missed. You're felt, in the void, in the contrast, in the memories she replays when nobody else shows up like you did. Want to make sure this lesson sticks? Don't reach out. Don't try to remind her. Let your improvement remind her. When you become unavailable, her memory works harder. When you grow in private, her mind creates stories. And when you no longer entertain the conversations she thought you'd never walk away from, she remembers your value. But by then, you're not seeking validation. You're building value. You're living by principles. You're choosing your peace. You're walking in strength. not to punish her, but to protect yourself from ever being undervalued again. That's what she feels, that's what she remembers, and that's what she knows she won't find again. Number 3, she plays tough. She doesn't cry, not publicly. She doesn't break down in her stories or send long emotional texts. No, she performs, she acts, she posts selfies, she reposts affirmations, she shows off a new outfit, a new location, a new distraction, and on the surface, it works. People comment, like, and react. But you, the one who saw her without the filters, you know the difference between her being happy and her being loud. And this isn't joy. It's noise, it's performance, it's ego dressed as strength. She plays tough because that's the only move left when vulnerability is too painful. She tells her friends she's fine, she says she's moved on. But when the phone is down and the lights are off, she's in her thoughts. And those thoughts, they're not peaceful, they're not proud, they're spirals. Why didn't you chase? Why didn't you call? Why are you okay now when she thought you needed her more than she ever needed you? That's what stings. It's not your silence, it's your evolution. It's the fact that you didn't fight for someone who gave you attitude instead of effort. She plays tough because soft would mean admitting she lost something valuable. And she's not ready to face that truth. Not yet. So she performs. She pretends. And the longer she does it, the more tired it makes her. Because pretending to not care takes more energy than being honest. That's what she'll never admit. She thought you'd be the one to fold first. She thought you'd reach out, apologize, ask to talk. But now it's been too long. Now her pride is in control, and she's trapped in a role she created, the role of someone who doesn't feel, but she does, deeply. And every time she sees your name and doesn't see a message, every time she checks and realizes you're not checking for her anymore, she feels it. That's the part she didn't plan for, that when you stopped responding, she'd stop feeling in control. And now her act feels heavy, because behind every tough post is a regret she can't share. Behind every loud laugh is a memory she wishes she had protected. Behind every new connection is a comparison she refuses to acknowledge. But it's there. You're the standard now. Not because you begged, but because you didn't. Not because you talked back, but because you walked away. That's the difference. And that's why she plays tough. Because to admit the truth would mean acknowledging that you mattered more than she let herself feel. That's the cost of performance. It convinces everyone except the person doing it. She's not over you. She's just over the idea of showing it. And that's where the tension grows. You're not bitter. You're not waiting. You're not reacting. You've outgrown the game. And her only move left is the act. Want to stay in control? Let her perform. Let her act. Don't correct her. Don't expose her. Just keep building your life in silence. Keep upgrading in private. Because nothing destroys a performance more than an audience that stops watching. She plays tough because she knows what she lost. And the more she acts like she doesn't, the more she proves it. Number 4. She compares you to others. It starts quietly, without her meaning to, without her even realizing it. Because comparison is automatic when something you once had now feels absent. And she didn't think she'd have to compare anything because she never thought she'd lose you. But now she's sitting in conversations that don't feel as alive, receiving compliments that don't land the same, hearing voices that don't calm her the way yours used to, and slowly, painfully, it begins. the measuring, the comparing, the questioning of whether what she thought she wanted actually mattered at all. Because when she sees how fast others talk without listening, how casually they touch without intention, how often they speak without depth, it starts to click that your presence wasn't just different, it was better. Not in a way that begged for approval, but in a way that made her feel a little more like herself every time you showed up. And now she's face to face with substitutes that don't fill the gap, only widen it. And the more she seeks to replace you, the more she realizes that what she dismissed as ordinary was actually rare. Because you weren't flashy, you were steady, you weren't loud, you were grounded. And while she chased the thrill of attention, she lost the value of connection. And that's what hits hardest. Not that you left, but that you didn't come back. Not that you pulled away, but that you didn't peek back to see if she missed you. And now she's with people who don't know her, trying to recreate moments that were never meant to be copied. And even when she pretends not to notice, it shows in how quickly she disengages, how easily she gets annoyed, how often she checks your profile without telling anyone. And what started as silence on your part is now an internal echo in her world that keeps whispering your name in spaces that used to belong to you, because comparison doesn't need an invitation. It arrives when absence creates contrast, and the contrast is sharp now. Sharp because you've evolved, you've built, you've become selective with your time, and the man who once waited for her response no longer needs it. The man who once filled her day now fills his own, and that realization breaks something in her. Not because you were perfect, but because you were present. And now the standard you set becomes her curse, because every new conversation gets benchmarked against the one she can't have again. And the more she tries to dismiss it, the louder it becomes, because you were never supposed to matter this much. But now you do, because while she was looking for new, you became better, and better is always harder to forget. Number 5. She wants answers. She doesn't ask out loud, not directly, not at first, because asking would mean admitting she cares, and her pride won't let her do that yet. But the questions are there, loud in her mind, constant in her thoughts, running in circles when she tries to sleep, and it always starts with the same disbelief. Why didn't he chase me? Why did he go quiet like that? Why is he so okay without me? Those are the whispers that fill the spaces where your texts used to be, where your presence used to sit. And she's searching for something that makes sense, because in her version of the story, you were supposed to keep proving your worth. Even while she tested it, you were supposed to stay available even when she withdrew. You were supposed to wait while she entertained options. And now that you're gone, really gone, not pretending, not playing, just absent with intention, she's not looking for closure. She's looking for control, because she can't control you anymore, and that terrifies her more than anything else. So she posts things to bait a response. She brings you up around mutual friends, not to show concern, but to dig for details, for any piece of information that makes her feel like she still knows what you're thinking. And every time she doesn't find it, the questions grow heavier, more invasive, more self-focused. Was I not enough? Did I push too far? Is he seeing someone else? And the irony is thick, because now she wants clarity, but back when she had your full attention, she gave you confusion, she gave you games, she gave you mixed signals and double meanings, and now she wants straight answers, but you don't owe them. Not anymore, because while she's digging through the past, trying to find the moment you stopped caring, you're focused on a future that no longer includes proving yourself to people who need to lose you before they see you, and this is where your real power grows, not in giving her closure, but in removing the expectation that she deserves it. Because she didn't listen when you explained. She didn't change when you asked. She didn't appreciate you when you stayed. So now you're silent, not out of bitterness, but because peace doesn't explain itself. And while she spirals through theories and timelines and second guesses, while she waits for that text that never comes, that phone call that won't happen, she realizes something she'll never say out loud, that you meant more than she admitted, that your absence created more questions than her ego can answer, and that the version of you she used to control no longer exists, because now you move for you, and she can't reach that, can't access that, can't fix that. And the more she wants to understand what happened, the more she realizes the truth. What happened was her, and the answer is final, because you've evolved past the need to explain. Number 6. She rereads your texts. She doesn't do it for nostalgia. She does it for understanding, for clues, for reasons, because the same words she once ignored now feel like proof of something deeper, like maybe she missed the signs. Maybe you were trying harder than she gave you credit for. Maybe she misjudged your silence as weakness instead of restraint. And so she scrolls through your old messages late at night when no one's around, when she doesn't have to perform, when the pressure of acting unbothered fades, and the truth comes through the quiet, like a weight she can't shake. And as she reads the way you used to speak to her, kindly, directly, with intent, it burns, not just because of the words, but because of what they now represent. Consistency she no longer has, a presence she can't replace, a standard she didn't protect. And the more she reads, the more she feels it, line by line, memory by memory, the way you'd check in without needing a reason, the way you'd make her laugh without trying, the way you'd offer help without her asking, all of it. Things she once took for granted now haunting her in blue bubbles and empty reply boxes. And it's not just that you're gone, it's that you were good to her, better than she ever told you, better than she admitted to herself. And now that you're unavailable, the record of who you were becomes the reminder of what she lost. And she can't argue with it, can't spin it, can't rewrite the narrative because the texts are there, unchanged, raw, simple, and devastating. And the hardest part isn't that you don't message her anymore. It's that you never left anything unfinished. You never burned bridges. You just stopped showing up in places where your value wasn't honored. And now every time she reopens that thread, she's not looking for closure. She's looking for you, the version of you that loved without games, that showed up without keeping score. And she knows she won't find that again. Not in new conversations, not in rushed connections, not in the empty validation of temporary attention, because you weren't just a guy texting her. You were the one who saw her chaos and didn't flinch, the one who didn't need her to be perfect to be present. And now, with nothing left but digital footprints and a new version of you out of reach, she's faced with the truth she avoided, that she had what most people search for, and she couldn't see it until it stopped responding. And while you're moving forward, becoming someone even your past self wouldn't recognize, she's stuck on pause, stuck in a thread she no longer belongs to, rereading your kindness and feeling the weight of every word she used to scroll past. Because now, finally, she understands them, not as texts, but as the reflection of someone who gave more than she earned. Number 7. She dreams about you. She doesn't choose it, doesn't control it, because dreaming isn't voluntary. And while she's pretending to move on, pretending to be unbothered, her subconscious doesn't lie. It doesn't keep up the act. It reveals the truth she works so hard to suppress during the day, and in those quiet hours when the world stops watching, that's when you return. Not because you're trying to, but because her mind won't let you go, and what she buried with ego in daylight rises in the dark. And in her dreams, you're still talking, still laughing, still standing there the way you always did when she pushed you away and you chose to stay anyway. Because back then, she believed you'd always be there, that your patience was endless, that you were easy to replace. But now your absence isn't just real, it's persistent, and her dreams aren't just flashbacks. They're conversations she regrets not having. They're memories mixed with guilt, reminders of what she could have protected but didn't. And while she keeps pretending she's fine on the outside, her sleep betrays her. It brings you back, uninvited but undeniable. And each time she wakes up with that pit in her chest, she remembers that you didn't fade out. You chose yourself, not in a selfish way, but in a way she never expected. And it's that clarity that haunts her more than your disappearance, because now she sees that you weren't trying to be perfect. You were trying to be present. You weren't trying to win. You were trying to build something, and now all of it plays like a reel behind her eyelids. The things she said to push you away, the way you kept trying even when she made it hard, and she sees the face of someone who didn't give up until it no longer made sense to stay. And the guilt of that is louder in sleep than it ever is when she's awake, because dreams don't give you a timeline. They don't let you mute what hurts. They make you feel it, relive it. And the man she used to treat like a backup plan is now a constant in the hours she can't control. And no amount of pretending during the day can erase the fact that she dreams about the one who showed her the version of love she now realizes she didn't deserve. At the time she had it, and it's not romantic, it's not sweet, it's uncomfortable, because every time she sees you in those dreams, it's a reminder that you were real, and that you're gone, that you gave more than you should have, and that the one who gave the most now gives nothing. And she knows that silence wasn't revenge, it was release, and her dreams. They're just the mind's last attempt to fix what pride refuses to admit. And every time you show up in her sleep, it's not because she wants you back. It's because deep down, she knows she lost something she won't find again. Number 9. She starts stalking you online. No announcement is made, no one hears about it, no one sees it happen, but it begins the moment you stop engaging, when your likes disappear, when your replies stop coming, when the attention that once made her feel important vanishes without explanation. And now the same platform she used to use to keep you guessing have become tools to observe what she no longer has access to. And each scroll through your feed is another reminder that you're no longer orbiting her world, that you've taken your energy elsewhere, and it drives her quietly insane, because control is no longer hers. Validation doesn't come when she needs it, and curiosity turns obsessive fast, not because she wants to support you, but because she can't believe how peaceful you look without her. And every new post feels like a statement, even when it isn't. Every new like, every comment, every unfamiliar face she doesn't recognize suddenly matters more than it should. And what used to be mutual connection has now become surveillance, because the man who used to flood her with attention is now unavailable. And the loss of that attention creates a vacuum. And that vacuum gets filled with speculation, with comparisons, with imagined stories, and she starts investigating you like you've done something wrong, when all you did was remove yourself from a space you were no longer respected in. And it hurts her pride more than her heart, because she truly believed you'd stay on standby, that you'd never detach without explanation. And now she's watching your moves with more intensity than she ever watched your efforts, and still not finding answers, because your silence isn't weakness anymore. It's strength, it's control. It's the embodiment of someone who no longer seeks external approval, and the lack of information forces her to think, to wonder, to reach conclusions she can't confirm. And that's exactly where the power shifts, because she can't provoke you, can't read you, can't predict you. And in the space where your attention once lived is now a version of you that builds instead of begs, that creates instead of chases, and every piece of content she sees reinforces the truth she's tried to deny. That you didn't just move on, you leveled up, and her access to you now exists through second-hand updates, through stalking a life that no longer makes room for her, and even when she pretends not to care, her actions show otherwise, because nobody tracks someone they've forgotten. Nobody checks for someone who doesn't matter, and her interest isn't romantic. It's control that slipped through her fingers, and your absence made it clear that her influence was never as strong as she believed. And now the only way she connects with you is through the reflection of a life she no longer gets to interrupt. Number 10. She regrets losing you. Regret doesn't come loud. It doesn't show up in captions or confessions. It sneaks in quietly, through moments she doesn't expect. Like hearing a song that used to play while your name was still in her notifications, or walking into places where you used to meet, or scrolling past someone who looks nothing like you but triggers everything she once felt. And that's when it hits her, not because of loneliness, but because of realization, the type of realization that only comes when clarity isn't given, when the chance to fix it has expired. And the more she thinks about who you were to her, the more she recognizes that it wasn't just your effort she lost. It was your essence, the discipline, the calm, the consistency, the presence of someone who didn't just show love but lived it, who didn't need to speak loud because his energy said everything. And now that energy is gone, not missing, not misplaced, just redirected, because the man she used to know no longer explains himself, no longer gives access just because someone demands it. And now every man she meets after you gets compared to someone who no longer picks up. And the worst part for her isn't that you left. It's that you left right, without burning the bridge, without chaos, without trying to be seen. And that grace makes the regret even heavier, because she knows that if you had lashed out or begged or made noise, she could have blamed you, but you didn't. And that's what breaks her, that you walked away when you had every right to explode, and you did it with peace. And peace is what she lacks now, because she lives in a loop where your absence is louder than her replacements, where your silence is sharper than their compliments, where your detachment is more powerful than her attempts to pretend. And that's what makes regret grow. When the loss feels like her own doing, when she realizes she had a man who chose her, supported her, stood by her while she entertained distractions and played emotional games, and now that man no longer needs her approval to move forward, and every day that passes with no message, no check-in, no attempt to reconnect, she feels that loss, not as punishment, but as a reminder of what happens when you assume good men won't walk away, and you proved her wrong without trying, without posting about it, without saying her name. And that's what she'll carry the longest, the knowing that she wasn't discarded, but outgrown. And the one who outgrew her did it by doing the work, staying silent, and building himself into someone that even her pride can't justify losing. And though she may never say it out loud, Her actions will reflect it, because regret doesn't always speak. It lingers. It sits in her reactions, in her comparisons, in the way she watches from a distance and tells herself stories that might never be answered. Because you didn't just walk away. You evolved past her reach. And now all she can do is remember you as the one she didn't protect, the one she didn't choose, the one she didn't realize she needed until you were no longer available, and that kind of regret lives longer than heartbreak. If you've made it this far, it's because deep down, you know you were never supposed to stay in the dark. You were never meant to beg for respect or stay stuck in cycles that drain your worth. Society feeds you lies to keep you weak, emotionally reactive, chasing validation that never comes. But the Stoic relationship blueprint shatters all of that. This isn't just an ebook, it's the reset button they hoped you'd never find. It's packed with timeless Stoic principles that'll rewire how you think, how you move, how you lead your life. And now, you can even listen to it as an audiobook while walking, training, or building yourself back stronger. Once you own it, it's yours forever. No one can take that power away from you again. The link is in the comments. If you're done playing small, comment, "I choose power." Like the video, subscribe, and help bring this truth to more men who are one heartbreak away from losing themselves.